I'm going to be making a light up wall plaque today. I've got one of these little push lights and some of this lovely washi tape that I got from Temu. So we're going to be using that. Let's pop that to one side for a minute. And this gorgeous tray mold from Molds and Shapes. So we're going to start by using a sheet of acetate. So let's just pop this mold out the way for a minute. I'm going to start by just placing a ruler up the top of the acetate there, just so as I can get my straight line. And then I'm going to put the washi tape at the top first of all. I've got this one with the clouds on it. So start with this one. I'm just going to line that up to the top of the ruler there. And then I'm just going to use a squeegee just to flatten that out straight. So that's our first one down. Just get that little air bubble out there. So we can do away with that now. And then this other piece, we can turn it upside down to go on there like that. So I'm peeling this one off. And then I'm just going to butt that one up to that first one. And pop that down there. And then use my squeegee to work that along. Got a bit off there. Let's just peel that back a bit. And line that one up again. Better. And then next we're going to use this one that's got the huts on. So I'm going to place that down next. So that's going to go there. Let's pop that down across that bit there. Squeegee that along. And then we're going to use, so we want some of the C to go down there. Let's just hold that in place with the ruler first, because I need to put this bit down to see where that's going to go. So that would go about there. And I would like it to be about 1 inch from the bottom as well, if I can. So let's put that there and see if that still fits in there. Yes, it does. So I'm going to use my ruler again as my guide at the bottom. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. Let's just raise that up a little bit. There. Right, so I'm going to put my ruler down the bottom there. And then use this piece next. And then just line that up with the bottom of that ruler. Pop that down there. And then squeegee that on. And then I can place that one on there like that. So same again with this one. Just going to line that up so it overlaps that bit there. squidgy that down. Got a few creases in that one. Let's see if I can just get those creases out. Pull that up a little bit. That's better. So that's that bit. And then I'm going to use this stick-on sort of glittery strip up the top there. So I'm just going to cut some of that off there. And then that will go up that top section. Oopsie days. All that backing off. And then I'm going to place that up the top. Line that one up. Push that one down. And then the same again on the bottom. So let's cut a section of that off. And then that would go down that bottom section. So I'm just going to do the same thing with that one. Let's get that bit of dog hair off first. That's better. And then line that one up down there. Push that down. And then I'm just going to trim off any excess bits off the back. So trimming that up and those bits along there. Chop that off. And then same again the other side. Trim that off there. And that bit there. Right, so that's our first piece done, and we're going to bend that round like that. So next we need to do the tray. So for the tray, it's going to sit that way, but I'll do it this way so you can see it better. And I want a hole in the top, so I'm going to use one of these hole makers from Little Windows. And I'm just going to pop that in the centre of that top bit there. That should be okay there. And I'm going to be using the Let's Resin Magic Pour. So I'm just going to pop some water in a jug. I like to add the powder to the water, but you can do it either way. I just find it mixes in easier this way. So some water going in there first. And then I'm going to add the powder. So just slowly add in the powder and then mixing that as I go. Put a bit more in there. So I'm just going to get this mixed up and then I'll see you back in a minute. Now that's all mixed up, I'm going to add to that some of the Homeware Designs pigment in Mermaid. So a few drops of that going into there. I think I just want to keep this to a solid colour. So I'm just going to mix this in thoroughly. That will do, I think. And then I'm just going to start by pouring this in to my mould. Let's get that little bit out there. Mix that in. I think I've got some bits there that I haven't mixed in properly. Right, so next, I just need a little bit more down this side, I think. Let's pop a bit more in there. And just get that mixed in thoroughly. And then I'm going to take my acetate sheet, and where this mould has got that groove down the end there, I'm going to place that one in there, bend it over and pop that down into that other side there. So that will stay in place like that. And then I'm just going to top up the rest now, just to fill up the tray all the way. Let it flow down underneath. Pop some in this other side as well here. Let's just give that another mix and fill that side up. And just letting it flow naturally down the middle. Right, so that's all topped up now. So we're just going to leave this to cure now, and then I'll see you back for demold. You probably noticed that I totally put that the wrong way round. So I've just taken it out, spun it round so the picture's facing the right way for the hole. So I'll see you back when this is cured. This is ready to come out now. So I'm just going to pop out that little stopper there first of all, and then we can get this out the mold. Comes out nice and easy. So that's how it's looking so far. Sorry, I'll just have to do it like that so it fits in, but that's looking beautiful. But because that would normally be the right side up, and this is got a rough edge here, I'm just going to go around with a sanding block and just smooth those edges over. So I'll do this off camera because this is going to be a bit noisy. So I'll do that, and then we'll let it dry out overnight, and then I'll see you for the next bit. This is all dry and sanded now. So next I want to add the light inside, and because it's one of these that has batteries, I need to attach it in a way that I can still get to it to change those batteries. So I'm going to use a magnet, and I'm just going to attach the smaller magnet using some of the instant Green Stuff World glue. Pop that little one on the top there and set that into place. And then I'm going to attach the other magnet to that, and then pop some of the glue on the back of that one. That's probably a bit too much actually. Let's take some of that off. And then I'm going to set that into place inside. I'm just going to hold that down until that glue sets. So that will stay in place there, and I can get to that light to turn it on and off. But I can also just pull it out to change the batteries. So that's the light attached. And next I've got these starfish that I've still got left over from what the lovely Lou from Create and Bloom sent me. And I thought I'd add one down the bottom there. I think I'll put one there and one up the top there. So I'm just going to use the glue again just to attach these. So a bit there, hold that one into place, and then the same with this one up the top here. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue onto there, give that a quick squirt with some freeze spray, and then attach that one there. And then I've got some extra little shells here, so I thought I'm going to use the Let's Resin UV Resin hard type, and I'm just going to add some of these at the bottom and at the top. So let's just spin this round for a minute, and I'm just going to put some down in this left hand side here. Just put a layer of that resin down there, and then I'm just going to place in some of the shells down here. Just pick a few out to go in there. So while I'm doing this, I'll just mention that today's video is part of the Friendship Express train, and there will be a playlist in my description box. The Friendship Express has been organised by myself and Susie from Serendipity Resin Creations, Tina from Pour Resin with Love, and Amy from Resonating Art by Amy Ann. So feel free to check out all the other lovely videos in the playlist. Right, I think that would do for down there. So I'm just going to give that a quick cure with the UV lamp. So that's those all set in place down there. And I want to do this top section here as well. But before I do that, the hole there isn't big enough. So I'm just going to use a drill and drill out that hole a bit bigger. So I'll do that off camera because that's going to be loud. So that's the hole a better size now. Next, I'm going to do the same thing up in this corner. So I'm just going to add some resin there. And you probably don't need to see me doing this again. So I'll just do this and then I'll be back when this is finished. So that's all my shells in place now. And next I'm going to use the silver gilding wax by Pebeo. And I'm just going to pop a bit on my brush and then just take some of that excess off. And then I'm just going to go around the outside edge just to give that some highlights. Just working my way all the way around, down that side as well, and the outer rim. So I'm just going to do this all the way around. So that's the gilding wax all finished around the outside edges. So that's looking lovely. So finally, to be able to hang it, I'm just going to use some blue ribbon and thread that through that hole at the top there. Pop that through there. Let's find, I might need my brush just to do that. There we go. And then take that back through that loop that I've just made, pull that through there, give that a tug, and then tie a knot in that top section, and then that will hang from there. I'm just going to trim off that excess bit there. Just going to cut that bit off like that. So that's my light all finished. It's going to be a bit hard to see. Let me just turn off a couple of my lights here. There. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end to see it all lit up properly. Bye for now.